Well, good afternoon, Mr. Harkins. How are you?
Doing well, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well as well.
Looks like you're having the same weather behind you that I'm having.
I know it's amazing how that works. I love green screens because if y'all saw the mess behind me, y'all would think, "What in the world?" Renovation is taking a toll. Let me tell you, it is taking a toll.
You're in the home stretch, though, buddy. Hang on.
I am. I think we'll be moved into space permanently and everything done by the end of next week. That's my fingers crossed. And then I'm having company the week after. So, there's nothing like having, lots of room between.
Cutting close.
All right, here we go. We're going to start. So much for all that, uh, what do you call it? Talk?
Talk.
Banter talk,
Oh, banter.
talk through
Yes. Small talk.
the warm up routine. I mean, I just feel like we have to do the warm up routine first,
Sure.
then let people come in and get settled and get ready. Though I will say, I got a really good compliment earlier this week on the show that they're really appreciative of all the good information. So thought that was great. We appreciate those compliments. Um, we have a lot of people that are just really busy right now, so they're catching us on replays. I want to remind everybody again, this week, if you miss it, there'll be a replay on Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. We try to do that now every week, so people have a couple of different opportunities to catch the information and catch the Spark Live event. So we're going to jump in here. Why having an up to date listing is important to your local marketing. And more important to your local to marketing, you're going to find out as we go through this how important this is to your business. We're going to really jump in, and I think some of you are going to be surprised to see some of these numbers. So here we go. 94% of consumers have used a business information site to find information about a local business in the past 12 months. Why is that? Why in the world are they looking for a business information site when all you have to do is Google it?
Well, there's information on those listing sites that Google doesn't have. And, there's different reviews, there's more information about the business, there's location information, there's, a lot of things that are valuable to consumers who are conducting a search. Ways of comparing one company with another company, ways of requesting that a company contact them, and all of those things are unique to the different sites that are out there, and they're valuable.
Well, a lot of people don't realize everybody thinks that all of us just stay either on Google and Facebook. And the truth is, that's not true. I mean, there's still people that will look you up on Yellow Pages. There's still people that are looking at Siri. They're looking at Waze. They're looking at Yelp. They're looking at all different kinds of ways to actually find you. Both are, social. Some are, I never even thought of Waze as a kind of a business listing. But oh yeah, it is because it's a map. It's a map listing. Of course it is. It's a business listing. So it's kind of crazy. So here's the most commonly used sources of your business information, and this is your business information. 89% Google. No surprise there, right? No
I'm
surprise.
surprised it's not higher.
Yeah, there you go. Look at this. I tell people this all the time when they go, "Do I really need to be on social?" Well, yeah, you do. Facebook, Yelp, another another one. Look at this one. Instagram. Who would have thought Instagram for all those places you need to be? You put Instagram and Facebook together, so that's 48 and 32. Can you do your maths? I believe
Yeah,
that's
that's a bigger number.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bigger number. You can do your maths. There you go. And Siri, 18%. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you get into this to realize how the percentages of people that are actually looking elsewhere and not just Googling you. Though it's a fact now, we have made it a fact 89% will Google you. So that's the most important place to be. But I will tell you, I actually looked at a business this last week, nowhere where they listed on Google. And today, the Google My Business profile has been changed to Google My Profile.
Or Google.
Google,
Yeah,
what is it?
I'll find it.
Go look at it. Just see what it is. But it's a different name. It's profile. It's Google something profile. So really, really interesting because they're rebranding that a little bit.
Google Business Profile.
Good. That's it. It's a GBP instead of a
GMB.
GMB. I'm gonna have to get used to that. What is it again? A Google Business Profile.
Google Business Profile.
GBP.
GBP.
Man, they're not making
GMB.
this.
My aunt always calls it OMG.
There you go. I'm with her. I'm gonna have to really get used to those things. This is where we got that information. Business Listings Trust Report. It's out of Bright Local. They do a great job of putting some of these things together. So we're going to dig a little deeper. So here's the real problem if you don't manage these listings. If a consumer gets on there and they're relying on your listing being correct and it's not correct, then that's a problem. If it doesn't have a phone number, if it doesn't have an email, if it doesn't have a correct address, I mean, these are all things that a lot of times aren't showing up. So when 85% of consumers say that they've been to at least one listing in the last year that was not correct, that's a problem.
So common things that we see are, the business has changed location. I mean, and maybe it's not a big change. It's just, they were able to get a larger space 3 doors down in the same, strip center. And so they moved and, but they forgot to update their listings or, phone number confusion is a big deal where there's just multiple numbers and nobody knows, I mean, it's does this number truly ring to the business or not? And sometimes it doesn't because it hadn't been checked in forever and somebody forgot. Mm-hmm. And then probably one of the most common things that we see is people list things that they do, services they provide or products that they sell when they don't actually provide that service. And so people call for that only to be told, well, we don't really do that. And they're like, well, I don't understand. I saw it in the listing that I just found. So that's pretty common.
So here's kind of, I'm glad you brought all that up because here's really the list of the things you want to make sure that's correct. Phone number, absolutely. Address, absolutely. Business name, yes. Make sure you have the right business name. Opening hours, emails, photos. Here's the thing about photos. When 45% of consumers say that poor quality or outdated photos would damage their trust, does that give you the confidence that maybe you need to have some good photos done and make sure that piece of your business?
And maybe you have a slide for this one too, but I think it's like 63% of consumers say that finding outdated information on a listing would be enough to prevent them from doing business with a company.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you put in on top of that your nothing's right and your photos are really lousy, I mean, those two things right there, you're just going to walk away. This one blew me away. 87 clicked through to a website from a business listing. And the link was broken.
Ouch.
So you spend all this money marketing, you spend all this money doing all these things, and the link to your website doesn't work. Now, I know a lot of times this happens when people update websites or they make a change, or sometimes the link goes to a page that may not be the home page. So anytime any of those are changed, all of a sudden it breaks that link. So you got to go back and check these listings. I would say at least every 6 months, if not every quarter. I mean, it really, really is important. And guys, those of you that have joined us, if you have any questions or comments, man, put them in the comment section, please. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, because we just like to see the likes and the loves, if you've got a little thumbs up or, a nice little heart, it is Thanksgiving. I'm pleading. No, I'm kidding. I'm in a really good mood today because it's Thursday, and I just always love being here with Carter. So yeah, we got some love. Thank you so much. There's Terry. Terry's the one that said this week that she really appreciated all of our information.
Aww.
So thank you so much for being here, Terry. We appreciate
Thanks, Terry.
Yeah. So this is the other thing that blew me away. Can you imagine running a business where you find out that 80% contacted a business through a listing and never got a response from the business? 72% called the number associated with that listing at least once in a year and got the wrong number. The business was associated with somebody totally different. I mean, some of these things just was like, wow, it's really, really crazy. I mean, those are things that you really have to watch. Hey, Mark, glad you could join us, buddy. Can you talk more, Thomas? Can you talk more about Yext and some pros and cons for getting listings done there? So Yext is is kind of an automatic listing services. It's not that it's a bad thing to do, but you don't have people going back and making those changes. You still have to manage it. A lot of times you go through Yext and they put the listings in for you right out off the bat, but you still have to manage those listings. And here's the biggest problem. If you ever stop working with them, a lot of times they put listings behind paywalls, so you can't get back in there. We've had that issue several times. So if you're going to use Yext, just know you're going to use them for a long, long time, because you'll need to stay with them so that you can access those listings. And thanks, Tom. I appreciate you bringing that up. But I'm telling you, people don't think about their listings off of Google and their website. But a lot of this is really, really important stuff. This was interesting for brick and mortar, for, if you have a hearth company, or, my goodness, if you're a restaurant or anything like that. Even during the pandemic, one of the things that we found is people would go to restaurants thinking that they would be able to get food and at least order and maybe take it on, and they get there and the restaurant's closed because they never marked their listing closed. So that's a problem. But when 64% actually visited a wrong location because the address was wrong, wow, that's crazy. And then for those of you that still don't think social is important, 63% tried to reach a business through social channels and never got a response.
I can sympathize here. I'll take the viewpoint of a very busy business owner who's just besieged with all of these communication options and things to stay on top of. Every listing, keeping it all straight, making sure that all the information gets updated. Heaven forbid you need to, update an email address or change a phone number, or, you're moving your showroom or you're changing locations, because then it's just this, it's almost worse than, what you have to deal with the post office to change a location and send, an updated address to all of your vendors. And But there's I mean, the reason that we do it is because customers, ultimately our job as business owners is to make it as easy as possible for people to spend money with us, and we want to remove as many barriers to that happening as possible. And so having multiple options and many different opportunities for people to contact us, reach out to us, and start a conversation that hopefully will lead to business is the goal there. But it is very possible that if we're not minding the farm, and if we don't have good systems to make sure that we're monitoring all of those places, then we end up with that 63% that just never heard back from a company when they tried to connect with them, because nobody's monitoring that channel, nobody's paying attention. So there's some great automation strategies for that now. There's some great dashboards. We're bringing one online at the beginning of the year that we're really excited about, that consolidates a lot of those different types of channels from different places, so that you just have one place to check and you can monitor, I think it's like up to 6 or 7 different channels all at once, and it just brings it all to one place. So it makes communicating with customers and potential customers a whole lot easier. So there are some solutions that you can utilize to bring that number down, because the worst thing to happen is, in your effort to try to remove the obstacles, to people spending money with you, is to actually be increasing those obstacles in effect, because you can't keep up.
And I think one of the things that's really added to this problem is the multitudes of platforms. I mean, where you need to have your listings looked at and have them, be correct. And I mean, it's just like, we got an email the other day just for our new Google Business profile listing, to make sure you put in your Thanksgiving hours. Are you open on Thanksgiving? Are you closed? Are you open on Black Friday? Are you closed? I mean, and they send an email out. They're the only ones I know that sends an email to all the admins in that system that says, hey, update this, do that. At least, it gives you a little bit of a headway on there. But so many of them just don't. And if you don't have the manpower to deal with just phone and email, how in the world do you have the manpower to deal with Yext and Messenger and the GMB message? And I mean, if you turn all the stuff on that enables everything to be able to bring a lead directly to you, I mean, you would really be inundated, even more so.
You could be, yeah. Or, typically what it's more like is you turn something on, like the new GMB, which is now the GBP.
GBP.
They have a messenger feature now, and or have had for a little while, and people turn that on and they don't hear anything. I mean, nobody's using it because not as many people use that as other forms of communication. But so you stop monitoring it because you just think, nobody really uses it. And then suddenly you go one day and you look and you've missed 3 of them, and because you're not in a habit, right? It's hit or miss. It's not a frequent thing. And so it's very hard to build that habit of checking in place and getting that information. So it's a problem. I mean, technology is supposed to make our lives easier, but when there's so much technology, it really is hard to keep up.
Yeah. And I don't think it's going to get, this is my prediction, I don't think it's going to get any easier. I think if anything, it's going to get even more convoluted. I was reading just this morning that Facebook is trying to go back and get the young people again, because they've gone, I think like 10 years ago, there was like 78% of teenagers had a Facebook account, and it's like maybe 21% now. I mean, it's way, way down. And the headline is, want to know where your teens are? They're not where you are.
That's right.
They're not on Facebook because you're on Facebook. And luckily right now, most of our clients, at least, their clients are still on Facebook. And a lot of the teens will I think, go back into Facebook as they have families and those type of things, But where are they gone now? Well, they've gone to TikTok. There's this one, there's that. I mean, oh Lord, they're all over the place. You get exhausting thinking about it. So it's really, really interesting, though. So the bottom line here is there is no, I don't know how to say this. Don't don't let your business listing languish. How's that? I think that's the best way I know. Go out, look at all the places that you can think of. The Google My Business, that's the most important one. Facebook, Instagram, Waze, Siri, Apple Maps. I mean, there's just so many of them. Even your listing with your associations, okay? CSIA, NCSG, if you have your NFI certifications, there's a place to put it there. HPBA, wherever you can list your business, where it's your business name, and it needs to be your legal name, your address, phone number, website. All of it needs to be as consistent as possible across the board. Just make sure you get that done, and don't just leave that out to take care of itself, because it's just not going to. So I think that's really the message here. So I'll let you talk about that today.
Oh, well, so we wanted to make, and I want to explain this a little bit since we got a minute. We wanted to make this live stream that we do on Facebook and YouTube every week. We wanted to make it available to more people in more places. And so there are people who don't see this when we live stream it because it's not convenient to them, and they don't hang out on Facebook, or they never go to YouTube, and so their chances of encountering this are pretty low. But they do have an Audible account, or they do have a Spotify account, or they listen to podcasts in the Apple Podcasts app. So we wanted to make this available to them that way too, and which is why we're doing this. So I'd be curious to hear from people who watch this, whether or not you use any of these services: Audible, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whether you catch us on YouTube or catch us here on Facebook, because we want to be in the places where we can catch as many people as we can and grow our audience. That's part of why we do this. And so, but that's what we're doing. So after this is produced, then it is also released to these locations as well.
Couldn't have said it better. And next week.
Oh, I don't even know what we're talking about next week.
Yeah, next week, this is by request. So we have had somebody that watches or listens that have contacted me. And if you have a request as well out there, it's Taylor@sparkmarketer.com. Just let me know. But they wanted to know what a good schedule for website review and when to update your website. So overall website refresh, update. So we're going to talk about really about websites next week, and what to look for. When is a great time to actually get on that website and look and figure out when you need to start refreshing some things?
That's a good question. That'll be a good topic.
Yeah. So I'm really interested in that. So Terry says she listens to us through Facebook. I know Mark Hudson does as well. So that's great. We do have some people that hop on YouTube from time to time, but I think the majority right now that I've seen is through Facebook. So that's great. Well, we are keeping it short, keeping it sweet, and hopefully keeping it informative and somewhat entertaining.
Yeah,
We aren't TikTok, so I'll tell you the story about TikTok. One of our employees has a 9-year-old son that was watching our TikTok channel, because we are venturing into TikTok very slowly, to say the least. And so one of the things he said, he told his mom, he goes, "Y'all are boring." And she said, well, what do you think we should do? And he says, well, if you're going to be that boring, just be that boring and ride a skateboard. I mean, do something. And I was like, all right. Says, dance, sing. I mean, come on, do something. So I've told everybody the next TikTok I do, my business minute, my business marketing minute, I'm going to sing it. So if you guys want to be entertained, it's probably going to be sometime into this month or December. You're going to get me singing on a TikTok, and we'll see how much laughter we can ensue.
That's awesome.
So it's fun. So analyzing demographics. Terry says, I find that Facebook is more in alignment with my target audience. That's very true, Terry, and we're finding that as well. And that's why we still say Facebook is the place to be. I know TikTok is fun. I know Snapchat, has its moments, and Pinterest is actually a really interesting and different type of social media platform. It's not as immediate, and things kind of stay on it a little bit longer. So that's a fun place to be. But we do find that almost all of our clients, when they look at their clients, those people are still very much on Facebook, and that's why we really do recommend being both on organic and or doing Facebook ads. So that's fantastic. So thanks for that very much. So guys, we're gonna call it a wrap, and be here next week. We're gonna really dig into websites and what to look for when you need to update it or make some changes or totally redo it. We're gonna talk about that and have some guidelines. So thanks so much. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.